Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's October 24th, 2018. I'm up in the second food forest up near the swale system that I recently removed the sod, the weeds, the goldenrod, ragweed, quackgrass that was engulfing all of the serviceberry plants. Up in this area here, I have two different cultivars. I have shad and Allegheny serviceberries. In the first food forest, I have Saskatoon serviceberry bushes back there. And in a previous video, which I'll put a link in the upper right hand corner to, I mentioned when I was clearing this area, putting down the compost, putting down the wood chips, that I was going to be removing all of those tree tubes that are there, that have been there for 2 years now. I think I've had those for 2, it could be 3 years. I purchased these, actually 1994 Abby Girl had asked a question in the comments, where did you get your serviceberry bushes from? Now you can get them from your local cooperative extension in New York State anyways, but I would check to see if your state or county has an extension service where you can get, or the local university where you can purchase the bare root seedlings from, or get the seeds as well. I got these from Fox Green Farms, and I'll put a link in the description down below to the place. And the two that you see up here are shad and Allegheny serviceberry bushes. The ones in back are Saskatoon. I can't tell you which ones I like the most yet because I really haven't had the berries. As I mentioned, when I first put these in, the deer kept eating them down to just little nubbins, just like the high bush cranberry bushes, which I'll be hopefully making some videos on the high bush cranberry bushes as well, and some of the other berry producing bushes that we have here. But in that last video, I had mentioned that I wanted to change from going from those tree tubes, which I absolutely love, and switching to these tomato cages that you could see that I've already got. I think I've got 10 of these in so far. It's getting ready to rain. It's been raining on and off today, so I pulled the camera out just now so that I could go ahead and give an intro to this video. There'll be some GoPro footage of me actually changing these. And I recently posted a video about modifying our tomato cages, and that's what I'm using right now, are the tomato cages. I won't be pulling these off to do tomatoes next year. I'll be making more tomato cages hopefully in the next week or two. We'll see if I get to that. But I wanted to show you the process of removing the tree tubes and anchoring these tomato cages or bush cages now with 2 of those reusable cable ties or wire ties. Here they are right here. I'll put a link in the description below. Mars Rover actually commented, he had actually recommended, geez, leave the tree tubes on until next spring, then go ahead and switch the tree tubes out for these tomato cages. And his reasoning was some good reasoning. He thought, geez, less likely that the voles will get in them if they have still have the tree tubes on them, and the rabbits may browse at it and it'll keep them from desiccating. All of those variables I'm going to have to deal with no matter what. The voles, I do have tons of voles around here. Our cats keep the cats and the weasels keep the population of the voles down, and actually I think the toads do as well. And these are right next to a swale system right here, loaded with toads in this area as well. And I haven't had the voles next to the swale systems. Even on the other side of the area over there where I've got really deep mulch that I put in that area last year, I haven't had the vole problems. Now when I do have problems with the various trees and bushes and all, I do a post-mortem examination, look at the root crown, examine the roots, see what I can detect as potentially the underlying reason for the loss of the plant species. I certainly lose lots of plants to the voles in the kitchen gardens, the vegetable gardens. They'll go through and they'll be eating the carrots and all, and that's just one of the challenges when you're using the weed mats. The voles will get in there as well. And we don't trap any animals, even if they are a pest. We try to figure out a way to bring in someone else that'll help us work with them. Certainly there are quite a few snakes in this area as well. They're in each one of these mound systems, so we got just a plethora of natural species in these areas, and I haven't had those problems. Now, one of the problems that does happen, I'll try and shoot a little bit of video footage up close to some of these trees that I removed the tree guards from this spring, and I know it's hard to see with this 14mm lens on this camera right now, but I'll shoot a close-up with my GoPro camera of some of them. When the branches come out, when the limbs come out from the main trunk of the trees or the bushes that start to go off to the side, what ends up happening, they're forced to go straight up, and when they leaf out, it decreases airflow more, increases humidity content, and the leaves die off in those areas, and those limbs aren't supported as well. If they do get supported, one of the things that ends up happening, either the trees try to go out through the crack or the little holes in the tree tubes, which have cross ventilation in them, or what ends up happening is they just get tortuous and stay right close to the trunk. And if they're there for a full season to the next season, it's no longer green wood. It turns, the bark actually starts to harden up, the limb starts to harden up, and those limbs got to be pruned to an appropriate length. I did not prune these ones, so I'll be able to show you some GoPro footage of the ones on the trees over here. But I will be pruning them in the future. As long as they don't have a cage on them or a tree tube on them, I leave those limbs fairly long because I know the deer are going to come through and browse. They're here every single night and every single morning, munching on all of the foliage there, and they like those tender stems that are coming up. They don't tend to chew on the ones that are more mature wood, like the wood that's right here, but they are susceptible to wind damage, getting blown over, since we have very high wind speeds that come through this area. And they're certainly prone to getting banged around inside of the tree tube, although the tree tube really does protect them very, very much so because of their smooth inner surface. So I think that addressed the comments and questions that I got from 1994 Abbey Girl and Mars Rover. Both of you, I thank you very much for those comments and questions. So there will be some video footage showing the process of putting these, replacing the tree tubes, removing those, putting the berry bush cages around them, the old tomato cages, securing them with the cable ties, anchoring them with two 5-foot sections of 1/2-inch rebar, one on the western side and one on the eastern side, since our winds come out of the west as well. So if you found this video of value, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, hit that bell icon if you want to be notified when we post more videos, and certainly folks, have a super fantastic day. Bye bye now.